Hi folks, this is College Algebra Take Home 3. We're asked to start with the graph of a fairly innocuous function, y equals absolute value of x, and then use transformations to graph this beast. So the first thing we're going to do to get a handle on this is to rewrite this. So if you look at the rules of thumb, to get a better sense of what's going on here, we're going to rewrite the function part first. We're going to rewrite the absolute value part first. And then within the function, we're going to write the x part first. So we're going to rewrite this as negative 4 times the absolute value, negative x divided by 2 plus 3, and the absolute values plus 1. This will help make better sense of the transformations and how we do it. So we start off with our y equals absolute value x graph. We have our key points, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, and 1, 1. And those connect in a nice, pleasing V shape. So how are we going to change and move through these transformations? Well, the rule of thumb is we work on the inside first. So we're going to build up the inside of the absolute value from x to this thing. And how do we go about doing it? We're going to do it in the opposite order that we would expect, and everything that we do will have the opposite impact what we would expect on the x values. So the order of operations would say the last thing we do is the plus 3. So in working out the transformations, that's the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to look at the graph absolute value of x plus 3. And since we're adding 3 inside the function, that means we're going to subtract 3 from the x's. So we look at our key points, negative 1, 1, subtract 3 from it, from the x value, we get negative 4, 1, 0, 0 becomes negative 3, 0, and 1, 1 becomes negative 2, 1. The next thing to do then is to get this a negative x over 2, so we're multiplying that x by negative 1/2. And so the opposite of multiplying x by negative 1/2 would be dividing x by negative 1/2. Dividing x by negative 1/2 is the same as multiplying x's by negative 2. And so negative 2 times negative 4 is 8, so it's 8, 1. Negative 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 2 times 2 is 4. And so that handles the insides. So now the insides match. Now it's time to move to the outsides. Anything outside the function is going to affect the y values, and everything happens in the order and has the same effect as what we would expect. So the first thing we'll run into is that negative 4 multiple. So we'll take care of him now. So we're going to multiply the y's by negative 4. So we're going to get 8, negative 4, 6, 0, and 4, negative 4. So each of these y values we multiply by negative 4. The last transformation then is the plus 1. Means we're going to add 1 to the y's. Since we're running out of room here, I'm just going to write the key points here. Add 1 to the y's. 8, negative 3, 6, 1, 4, negative 3. Since we're sort of running out of space here on the screen, we'll go ahead and graph these 3 key points. We have 8, negative 3. We have 4, 3. Excuse me, 4, negative 3. And we have 6, 1. These are our 3 key points. How do we connect these points? It's an absolute value. We connect them with the V. And there's our answer. Now remember, the ultimate check for this is to take each of these x values and substitute them back into this equation and see that you get the corresponding y values back. For example, plug in the 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. You can plug in the 6. You should get out the 1. You can plug in the 4. And you should get out negative 3. So that'll do it for take home 3.